MacKay. He's known for creating poetic images of Canadian military missions in Somalia and Afghanistan, and now he's becoming equally known for destroying his works. On Tuesday, Allan Harding MacKay unrolled one of his artworks and ripped it up on live television. And just yesterday, in front of the Centennial Flame on Parliament Hill, he followed through on his promise to destroy 4 more of his pieces. He says the action is a protest against what he perceives as an erosion of democracy under the current Conservative government. And Allan Harding MacKay joins me from our studio in Ottawa. It's nice to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Through your work with the Canadian Forces Artists Program, Allan, you're considered one of this country's best-known chroniclers of military life. Destroying your own artwork seems like a radical move. Tell us more about how you came to this decision.
Over the last couple of years, I've been a fairly close observer, I would suggest, as a citizen. On a cumulative basis, I'm becoming more concerned almost on a daily basis with the particular policies and attitudes and what I see as suppression of more open and democratic debate about many of the issues that affect us as Canadians. So,
and what was the final precipitant that made you want to take this kind of action?
It likely is the present budget bill that's being debated. I mean, it's been described, and I agree, it's kind of a Trojan horse for a number of changes that won't see the kind of time and deliberation and sober thought that should go into major changes in legislation. And they're basically buried within a budget bill that seems to preclude, again, thoughtful committee and expert kind of examination. And because of the majority situation, when you get down to the numbers, Conservatives can still pass everything, and that's true. However, I think it's completely antithetical to parliamentary tradition and the sense of fairness and justice in terms of how, in a democracy, we should be able to understand why decisions are being made. And then, of course, live with those decisions, and the government has to live with them in relationship to when the next election comes around.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm curious. Let me get to how you actually think this might change things. But first, I'm curious to hear your take on how fellow artists and people in the military are reacting to this. I know you're getting a lot of support from people who agree with your political views, but some critics have argued that destroying these works is disrespectful to the members of the Canadian Forces whose experiences they document. What do you say to that?
Well, I think it should be known that there are in excess of 90 works in the Canadian War Museum of mine that come from the Somalian and Afghanistan assignments. There are other museums and galleries across the country also have works that relate to that experience. I've also done a number of video works that are based on images from those experiences, which are on my website. They're also on YouTube. So a lot of work that has been made accessible and has been donated by me to the War Museum. The issue, I think, is, for me, is who owns the work. And I would have to accept that as the creator, I own the work. I know that representation of the work goes beyond me. I mean, it does represent part of our military heritage. But it seemed to me that the sacrifice of maybe 5 of those works was important to point out and to underline abuse of power and an abuse of the privilege of being in a governing position in this country. I think that the sacrifice is necessary to bring awareness to throw another light on how business is being done.
Okay.